Are you and your mom overly involved in each other's lives? Do you feel exhausted, emotionally drained, but at the same time guilty for feeling that way? Do you feel overwhelmed and confused? Do you feel obligated to do things that you really don't want to do? Do you wish so badly that the relationship was different and you're just holding on, waiting for your mom to finally see how she's impacting you and change? Does being honest with yourself about how you really feel terrify you? Does it make you feel like a bad person or a bad daughter, or like someone else is going to be judging you for that? Do you feel like you're ungrateful for the things that your mom has done and that she still does for you? If any of this is resonating with you, you're in the right place. Hi, my name is Lori Desjardins. I'm a mother womb coach, and I help women get out of toxic dynamics with their moms, heal their deepest core beliefs, and live guilt-free lives. If you'd like to work with me, you can book a free appointment with the link below. I would love to hear from you. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about what codependency is, how to tell you're in a codependent relationship with your mom, what the root causes underneath the surface are, and how it impacts you as an adult daughter. By the end of the video, I'm also going to give you some simple steps that you can start using today. In order to solve a problem of codependency, we have to know what it means. So, what is codependency? Codependency is a relationship pattern where one person consistently prioritizes what they think the other person wants and needs ahead of what they themselves want and need. In a codependent relationship, both you and your mom can be the giver and the receiver. It's not always one-sided. You can fluctuate from being one role or another. Some examples that come out in codependent relationships are you've just gotten home from work, you're exhausted, you're drained, and your mom calls, again, to talk about problems that she's having with your dad. And it's the last thing you want to talk about. You don't want to hear about this, period, but especially at this time in the evening. But what do? You don't say no. You don't say, Mom, this isn't a good time, let alone, Mom, this isn't appropriate. What do? You put what you think she needs ahead of what you know you need. You think that she needs someone to talk to about this, that she has no one else she can confide in, at the expense of you really needing to just unwind. Another example is your mom being overly involved in your decision-making. She has taken on the role of the over-giver, the fixer, the one that says, honey, are you sure you want to take that job? Are you sure about this boyfriend or girlfriend? Are you sure you want to homeschool your kids? This kind of interference with you developing into your own person and being a grown adult who is capable of deciding for yourself has a profound impact on you and can be one of the big markers of codependency in a relationship between you and your mom. Later in this video, I'm going to explain what's beneath the surface of codependent behaviors. Why would someone so smart as you are? Why does someone who cares for themselves in so many ways self-abandon over and over again when it comes to your mom? Why does this happen? We will get into that later. For me, there was a lot of confusion around what the problem really was, let alone how I was supposed to solve it. My mom and I used to be very codependent. My mom was a single parent who really poured a lot into her relationship with both me and my brother. Growing up, I felt like I was walking on eggshells, that I was responsible for her emotions, and I was scared of the repercussions of saying or doing the wrong thing. Fast forward to 22 years old, when my mom had a nervous system breakdown and a mental health crisis. I essentially made a deal with myself that I would be the one to fix her problems. I would be the one to help her heal, and I was holding on hope that I would get the mom I used to be so close to back in my life. At 22, this seemingly overnight change in my mom really threw me for a loop. It was heartbreaking, to say the least, very confusing, and just an exhausting process to deal with. I didn't have a lot of resources, but I was stumbling my way through trying to figure out how to help my mom. I was helping my mom financially, with her housing, with what she was eating. I was teaching her how to rebuild skills that her nervous system breakdown had made her too scared to approach again, like driving and making meals. There was a lot to learn and a lot that was just in the darkness at the time that I couldn't see through. All the patterns that I grew up with, but didn't really have words for or didn't fully admit to myself were off in some way, they came roaring to the forefront of my life and impossible to ignore. I became even more of her best friend, her pseudo-spouse, her therapist, and her own mother. With a lot of help from therapists and a coach that specialized in mother wound healing, plus taking a course on that, I really began to untangle the root causes of why I felt so stuck in this relationship. What was really going on beneath the surface? Why was I so capable in so many areas of my life, but when it came to my mom, I was like a kid all over again, sad, longing for a different relationship, no voice, felt powerless. Why was this happening? It took a lot of work, but I made it to the other side, and now I live a life that is free of the burden of taking care of my mom, of feeling overly responsible for her, of taking on the things that she's trying to do for me that actually hurt me and drain my energy. It's not an easy path out, but it's a lot simpler than you might think, and you're closer than you might think. What are you experiencing in your relationship with your mom? Leave a comment below. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. How can you tell that you and your mom have a codependent relationship? One of the signs is that one or both of you enables immature or addictive behavior in the other. For example, your mom could have a shopping addiction. She's overspending, she's in debt, but you say nothing. In fact, you're kind of relieved that she has an outlet for how stressed she is, or how critical she is of you, or over-involved in your life she is, that you're like, yes, she's gone, she's out, she's doing something that's gonna make her happy, at least for a bit. You and your mom are doing things that you don't really want to. They're out of obligation. And sometimes this is okay in a relationship. The problem with codependency is that it gets overdone. It becomes the norm, it becomes consistent, rather than the one-off time. Another pretty clear mark of codependency is that you find it super hard, scary, and wrong to set boundaries with your mom. Saying no feels like the ultimate slap in the face to her, and it's the last thing you want to do, even when saying no would free up a lot of your time and energy. If you're terrified of setting boundaries with your mom, I have a free resource below that's really going to help you out. It's my ebook called The Guilt-Free Boundary Guide: How to Say No to Your Mom Without Guilt or Self-Doubt. It's an excellent resource to get you through some of the mental and emotional blocks that are keeping you from saying no to your mom without feeling like the worst person in the world. I also walk you through step-by-step instructions on how to set boundaries with your mom and scripts you can start using today that are simple, word for word, and highly effective. So grab your free ebook in the link below and get started on your healing today. Another sign of codependency is that you feel overly responsible for your mom in one way or another. Maybe it's financially, maybe it's being her companion, maybe it's feeling responsible for her emotions. You walk on eggshells, you tiptoe around her feelings, you're not openly honest with her about what you think and what you feel. Your mom is either dependent on you or she is taking on the role of still treating you like a kid who can't fend for themselves or make their own decisions. If any of these signs stand out to you, let me know in the comment section below. Do you think you're in a codependent relationship with your mom? Why? And if you're still not sure, ask me your questions. I'm here to help. Being in a codependent relationship with your mom can impact you in a lot of ways, and I really feel for you. It's challenging. It's really draining on your life force, and it's so confusing when you're in it. Once you start stepping out of it, it's a lot easier to look back and say, oh, that's what was happening. And I'm telling you, you will get there. If you get the help required, you will make it out of this. Being in a codependent relationship with your mom as an adult daughter really has a big impact on you. From a very young age, you were enmeshed and tangled up in your mom's life, and she was in yours in a way that went beyond what's actually healthy for your development. So what you're experiencing today could look like a sense of confusion about who you are. You don't know what you should choose next in your life. You're not sure whether or not you should marry this person. You're not sure whether or not you should have kids or how to raise them. You're not sure if you should study this or study that or take this job or go to this country. There's so much confusion, inner and outer. You would love to have some clarity around what to decide and go for it with vigor, to pursue your dreams and know what those dreams are and feel safe enough to admit them to yourself and the people that you're closest to. But that's just a reality that isn't yours right now. It can be, but sadly right now it's not. You, like many other codependent daughters, could be struggling with your self-esteem and your sense of self-worth. This relationship with your mom could be leaving you exhausted, burnt out, even numb, depressed, resentful, and anxious. All of these, even simultaneously, are normal responses to an abnormal situation. You can also feel very stuck, like you were when you were a kid. All the resources and abilities that you have as a capable adult woman seem to go out the window because it's your mom. You're back where you've always been. Feeling stuck in this pattern largely comes because you feel like you're doing the wrong thing by being honest about how you really feel and what you really want. You feel like a bad daughter and a bad person, or like you're ungrateful. You're also concerned that if you stop doing what you're doing, bad things are going to happen not only to you, but to your mom. And because you feel responsible for her on a lot of levels that you're not actually responsible for, the last thing you want to do is feel like you're dropping the buck, and she is going to pay the price for that. Let's get back to why someone so smart and capable, who does so much work on their own self-care still abandons themselves over and over and over again in the relationship with your mom? Why is this happening? What's at the root? Let's get into that. And before we get to that, if you're getting value out of this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel for more information and to help the channel grow and reach other women who are struggling like you. I want to thank you in advance for doing that. So let's get to the roots of codependency. They're largely based in trauma. Maybe you or your mom or both of you have abandonment wounds. The last thing you want to do is have someone who you really care about, who you love, stop being part of your life or greatly reduce the amount of involvement they have in your life. The thing that terrifies you and or your mom the most is the sense that deep down, you're really not worth loving. Someone is going to recognize what you're truly worth and move on and give their love to somebody else. It is a debilitating fear, and a lot of that is running your behaviors under the surface. They're subconscious beliefs. They are not conscious thoughts and well thought out choices. It's like you don't even know that's why it's happening. Other reasons that you or your mom might have become codependent is that there is another trauma of neglect or some form of abuse. You're trying to get your needs for safety, for reassurance, met through each other. When we talk about self-abandonment in this channel, I really want to point out that it's not what people typically think it is. The surface level symptom of self-abandonment, which is the hallmark of codependency, that you're going to do something at your own expense for the benefit of another. You're smarter than to be a martyr. Really let that sink in. You are smarter than to actually make these choices out of a well thought out, right in front of you, here's all the proof, plan. This is a subconscious belief driving your behavior. Same for your mom. And in my coaching work, I really reinforce this idea. Beliefs become behaviors. If you're stuck trying to change the behaviors, either in your mom or yourself, or both, you're missing why they're happening in the first place. So you might make some traction. You might be great for a day or two or three, or if you're super disciplined and you have a lot of willpower or motivation, that might even last for a few weeks. Problem is, eventually, the thing that's gnawing at you and the thing that is driving your mom to do what she does day in and day out, that hasn't stopped. That is still there. The belief that you're unworthy and unlovable, the belief that deep down you're actually a pretty rotten person, you're not good at all. Someone's going to see that at some point, so you have to overfunction. You have to overgive. You have to get the one person that you believe will never leave you or should never leave you, your mom. And for her, you, her daughter, the one person she can count on to never disappoint her, leave her, or confirm that she is indeed rotten on some level. This mixture of overdoing it, overgiving, self-sacrificing, it's not exactly self-sacrificing. What's happening at the root level with codependency is that both you and your mom, this is happening on both ways, even though the behaviors on the surface look different. Underneath it, the core is that you're both willing to give up and sacrifice your adult needs in favor of the unmet needs from your childhood and your teen years. You aren't making decisions as an adult right now. There's no shame in that. You don't know what's happening. This is why you're here, and I'm proud of you for educating yourself. It's a very necessary step. But what's driving your behavior and your mom's is this impulse, this compulsion to get some safety, some sense of reassurance from each other. As long as each of you does not have your own sense of inherent self-worth, does not feel like you are a good person deep down, does not feel like you have a strong sense of identity in who you are, doesn't feel like you can trust yourself, you can make it in this world without the other person feeding into you or depending on you. As long as these things are driving your behaviors, the codependency will continue. The cycle of your mom not trusting you to be an adult who makes her own decisions. The cycle of you feeding into your mom's problems, overgiving, self-sacrificing the adult self. This cycle will continue, but it doesn't have to. I want you to know that there is so much hope. And it's not just hope or wishful thinking. There are direct strategies that you can implement starting today to get you out of this cycle. Codependency is not a life sentence. It's not something you're destined to live with and struggle through forever. So I just want you to breathe with me right now. Just close your eyes. Take a moment to breathe in and out. And drop into your body a bit more, because that was a lot of information. And you stuck through it to this part of the video. We're almost done. You're doing amazing work for yourself. And you're handling it so much better than you're giving yourself credit for. Good for you. I recognize that. Take another breath. And exhale. And you can open your eyes. Awesome. You got this. If I can heal and get out of this guilt cycle of feeling scared and having my own inner lack of self-worth run the show in my life, you can do it too. I 100% believe that you can. One of the things you can start doing to get yourself out of the cycle of codependency is intentionally building trust in yourself. Start with small commitments to yourself that you follow through on. We heal through deals. What do I mean by that? When you make a deal with yourself and you follow through on it, you start to build trust with yourself. And that's something that codependents desperately need. So let's start with this. Simple thing. Just decide right now, I am going to do this next exercise that Lori guides me through. It's going to be short, but I'm going to do the whole thing. I make that promise to myself, and no matter what happens by the end of it, I'm going to be happy that I did it. Let's get into it. Start with loosening yourself up a little bit. Be goofy, okay? Get your body moving. Woo! Gotta shake that off. All right. Just want you to be honest with yourself and finish this statement. You can either say it out loud or just in your mind. I am feeling whatever comes to your mind is totally normal, fine, and acceptable here. I am feeling. Even though I am feeling, I deserve to heal. Even though I am feeling, I am safe to feel it. Even though right now in this moment I am feeling, I trust that there is a way out. That's it. That's all we're going to do right now. But having that practice of tuning in with your emotions, reassuring yourself, is really going to help you get out of the compulsion to try to get that reassurance from your mom. Subtle work really adds up and makes a difference in codependency recovery. And small promises to yourself, small deals, heal. Here are some valuable next steps for you. You really got to normalize these new concepts because you're probably terrified to even think of them, let alone continue pursuing them or believe them yourself. So we're going to undo the damage done by being told over and over and over again, whether it was directly or indirectly, that you're a bad girl or you're a bad person or you're a bad daughter if you believe that you should stop pouring into your mom or that you should say no to your mom. So keep watching videos like this. Watch this exact video multiple times. If you start surrounding yourself with people that have a different way of seeing your situation, that help you feel like, maybe I'm not bad. Maybe these other people, whether they meant to keep me controlled or not, they don't actually have my best interest at heart as an adult woman. Subscribe to this channel so that you get notified when new videos are coming up. I also encourage you to download my free boundary guide in the description box below. It is a great next step forward and it's quite in-depth. It's going to help you in a lot of ways. I also really encourage you to get help from someone who knows this topic intimately and isn't going to judge you for what you're experiencing. Therapists can be super helpful, as can coaches. If you'd like to work with me, I offer a free call so that we can get to know each other and see if this would be a good fit for both of us. I have my calendar in the link below. You can click on that and pick a time that works for you. Let's talk. In our complimentary call, we'll talk about whether one-on-one coaching or group coaching programs are right for you. They're effective, they're affordable, and they're available now. Thank you so much for watching this video and for taking the time to invest in yourself, in your wellness, in your education, and following your gut. You deserve to feel at peace and at home in your own self. You deserve to live a life beyond your wildest dreams. You deserve to put yourself first consistently and not feel bad about it. You got this. Check out one of my next videos to take this further. I'll see you next time.